All right, good morning, everyone. We are turning up on a Tuesday morning. I just rolled out of bed, haven't even finished my first cup of coffee, but we're going to roll with it. We are talking about a massive opportunity, 30 trillion of institutional managed money that's about to get unlocked and exposed to the digital asset space. And then we're also targeting $290 trillion markets by 2030 for cross-border payments. Now we get home builder confidence yesterday. We also get new home sales data coming in today. We get existing home sale data tomorrow. So a lot of real estate data coming out this week. I'm going to talk about that for a brief moment. And then we're going to take a look at how they're getting all their ducks in a row for these big ETFs. And we saw what happened to gold and silver after their respective ETFs got approved. 5x, 10x. Sounds pretty good. And I think that digital assets can do even more. So without further ado, let's get right on into it. Another buying opportunity. If you've been trying to pick up XRP under 60 cents, you got it again yesterday. Let's take a look at it. Bitcoin back up yesterday after we started out the week. Basically, Sunday night, we were crashing down in here into the lows of 40,500 for Bitcoin. But then yesterday we did rally. We bounced back. Just incredible strength right now in the digital asset space. Watching Bitcoin to hold this main level, 38,000 is going to be the big time support if we do break lower. Ethereum at 2,200. And as I stated, XRP back below 60 cents. It tapped off that 58 cents level again, 57979. And this is a level that we've bounced off here about 4 or 5 times, I believe, since we've been chopping sideways in this range. So that's very good to see. For your XLM, we're back down to 12 cents. Okay. Now, here's where I'm starting to look at at least maybe one or two more opportunities to buy in on the lows. Now, this is not the lows that I'm talking about. These little pullbacks right here, this is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a buy the rumor, sell the news with the ETF. Like, say, they get delayed again in January or they get approved in January. There's still some things that I see could be catalysts for us to correct. That's when I'm going to be sniping some of these positions on some of these altcoins. And I'm going to be sharing that with the community here shortly on kind of some of the altcoins that I'm looking at that I've had in the past that I want to get that bag back. And then maybe some new coins that I'm going to be picking up here shortly as well. One thing that I do want to do right now is I am going to be diversifying just slightly. I'm not selling off any of my XRP to dump it into others, but I'm going to pick up smaller positions in some other coins just to have some chips on the table. And just because I know in the past bull runs, XRP has pumped last and it's pumped the hardest. So in the meantime, if I can make some money on some of these alts and then we can shift those into others, I don't think that opportunity is gone. I think that you're starting to see that. I mean, you're seeing the meme coins pump. You see Solana pumped 800% this year. Just massive rallies for some of these coins. And so I'm going to be looking at finding some of those other gems. I'll keep you guys updated on that. The DXY was back down here today. This is why we see crypto bouncing. Okay, back down to 102. 2-year remains stagnant. The 10-year just hanging out here below 4%. Now, with the DXY back down, we see silver ripping back above $24 per ounce and gold. Big green candle. Okay. So we'll be watching that one. The stocks for NVIDIA, it was back down today. NVIDIA did push back up above $500 during the trading yesterday, starting off the day back down here. So I do believe that in regards to the stocks, I look at this S&P 500, it was back up here, pushing towards all-time high. And kind of the consensus on Wall Street is that we're going to see the rest of the S&P 493 or the 490, depending on how you want to carve it up. You got the Magnificent Seven that have really pumped S&P 500 this year. Now they're saying that there's going to be a shift into the other value stocks. We'll continue to watch that one. It's not as enticing of a play for me as it is to invest in maybe some of these altcoins or these digital assets, because if it's a risk on environment and the stocks are going to go, then crypto goes even harder. So this is why I don't play around in the middle. Either I'm going to be in a safe bet, silver, cash on the sidelines, and if we're going to make a bet, if we're going to gamble, let's get some big returns. You know what I'm talking about? So that's where I stand on the stock market and the opportunity between digital assets and stocks back up to all-time high. I mean, I don't buy things at all-time high. So I'm going to pass on these stocks And I'm going to look to pick up these cryptocurrencies if we get these opportunities back below 5 cents for XDC, and Algorand back below 20 cents, 19 and a half. Okay. Flare did a little bit of a pump here. That was Saturday, right? Back up to 2 cents for Flare. We'll be watching that one, I guess. And then Solana. Solana was the big one, as I highlighted. It's done about an 800% rally this year. But let's get on into it. So we got a little bit of data here to show us where we're at in this cycle. The mortgage rates have dropped. I just got pre-approved once again just to see what they're offering. And, you can get under 7% if you have decent credit. To get like down to 6.5, you have to have stellar 800 credit score in most cases, speaking generally. But the rates have come back down. Refinance applications have ticked back up, and now we're seeing the home builders have a little bit of life in them once again. Let's take a look. So we're looking at this thing here from Market Watch. Builder confidence index rises for the first time in 5 months as mortgage rates fall. The housing market appears to have passed peak mortgage rates for this cycle, and that's coming from the NAHB. Okay. So this is the first time in 5 months that it has come back up. And then if we look at this data point on the U.S. housing starts, they surged to the highest level since May. So we got permits and we got housing starts today. Construction of new homes rose 14.8% in November. This is housing starts rose to 1.56 annual pace from 1.36 in November. So there still remains a lack of supply in many markets. And with the mortgage rates coming back down, a lot of folks in the business, think that the worst is behind us. It's the same thing as the stock market's doing. They think, oh, the worst is behind us. The Fed's done raising rates. It's going to be up forever and ever from here. That's not the case. That's not how this works. And in particular, and I'm just going to make one quick point on real estate. You have to understand your market. You have to understand the segment of real estate that you're investing in. But look at these markets where there's, they are overbuilding, right? And there's a record amount of construction taking place in this country right now. This is going to be ticking back up here once again. And if we do get rates coming back down, a lot of folks are suggesting that we're going to have a lot of existing home sellers start to actually list their homes for sale. So the combination of those new homes coming in with the existing homes starting to actually sell, and folks not, sitting on the sidelines because they can't give up their 3% rate, that could come in for a spring selling season that where we actually get a flood of inventory. And so I'm going to be watching this. So market by market basis, and then you have to dice up sector by sector or segment by segment of real estate. You in commercial, you in office space, you in residential. You got to carve it up. You got to be specific, and you got to go market by market. But a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel is what the builders see. We'll see how that plays out. Oh, by the way, I was going to add, largest developer in my area has gone bankrupt. And this is the same development that they were undertaking was started in the last cycle during the Great Financial Crisis. And it doesn't bring me any joy to say this is not a joke. Just to prove my point on where we're at. The developer that took on this project back during the Great Financial Crisis, he ended up going bankrupt, and unfortunately, he ended up taking his own life. Very sad situation. New developer comes in during this cycle. They just filed for bankruptcy, and they're the largest developer within my area. So that's where we're at in this cycle. So anyways, let's get on into cryptocurrency here. Bitcoin transaction fees just hit their highest level of all time. 23.6 million in fees in one day. So the Bitcoin miners taking advantage of this with the ordinals and everything that's clogging this thing up. The average transaction going above $30 for a Bitcoin transaction, upwards of $40. Really kind of exposing itself, Bitcoin as an inefficient payment method, and definitely not a cheap one. It's still operating. It's still working. Congratulations. And the miners are making their money, and we'll just continue to watch that one. And now we're looking at the ETF filings as they're getting all their ducks in a row. ARC21 shares spot Bitcoin ETF has been listed on the DTCC under the ticker ARCB. And Cowboy Crypto reminds us that 21 shares The one with the XRP exchange traded product where Pomp and Kathy Wood are both investors, and that's over in Europe. So they did get, they found a way to get some exposure to XRP. Absolutely. And we have all of these, BlackRock and Wisdom Tree have now all filed amendments, and they're going to the cash create route, which the SEC prefers. So the SEC must have gone and whispered in their ear, as we've been talking about here lately. They've been meeting with all of these, folks that are trying to launch these ETFs in the last couple of weeks. And so now we see them making their amendments, getting all of their ducks in a row. How much money's coming in here, though? How much exposure do we got? Well, this is the Grayscale CEO, and he says that the spot Bitcoin ETF approval would unlock about 30 trillion worth of advised wealth for Bitcoin. This is Michael Sonnenschein from Grayscale. Let's take a listen.
Saw from, I mean, it was as low as 17,000 this year.
Sure. Well, Joe, I'm not one to make price predictions, but I do think there is a lot of optimism again in the market. I think a lot of investors are adding Bitcoin to their portfolios. And when we look ahead to the hopeful approval for spot Bitcoin ETFs, it really is going to unlock the opportunity to a part of the investment community that, for better or worse, but I would say for worse, has unfortunately been locked out of the opportunity to participate in having Bitcoin exposure in their portfolios. So we're really talking about the advised market here in the US, which is today about $30 trillion worth of advised wealth that we hope the approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs, the uplisting of GBTC, will allow for that opportunity and for those investors to partake in it as well.
The reason why I wanted to share this too is just to reiterate the point that we are not crazy when we talk about tens of trillions and hundreds of trillions coming into the DLT space. Just through the ETF unlock, you're talking about exposure for some 30 trillion in managed money. Now, is all of that going to go into a Bitcoin spot ETF? No. But it shows you that the trend is our friend after we get regulations, after we get custody solutions, after we get standardized processes. Everything gets put in place. We unlock the floodgates. Now, as I've been saying, watch out for that buy the rumor, sell the news event where even though we could get an approval, you still don't get trading for up to, I think, even 60, even 75 days after that ETF is approved. So that's what I'm saying. Watch out for that buy the rumor, sell the news event coming in. Even if we do get approval, January is the next deadlines. And then after that, the final deadlines on many of them are coming in March. So it all coincides right before that Bitcoin happening in April, and that's all going to be lining up with potentially the end of the, SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. So it's going to be an exciting year. Now, as far as, solving real utility, obviously Bitcoin transactions going to cost you $30-40. But when we look at, projects like XRP, XLM that are actually working on solving real problems, and how big are those problems like cross-border payments? 290 trillion expected value of cross-border payments market by 2030. This is a Ripple report, the digital evolution of money. So not only are we talking about tens of trillions getting unlocked of advised money, we're also talking about hundreds of trillions of flows moving cross-border. And this is just part of the payments market that we're looking to cover, to solve. And so this is why, for me, I've focused on the real utility. I'm not going to be trading meme coins. I'm looking at maybe adding to some other altcoin positions that solve real utilities. Ripple, Stellar, obviously, covering cross-border payments, but we're also tokenizing the whole internet of value right now. There's plenty of opportunity out there. And I just want to reiterate the point that we are in the right spot. If you don't think that XRP is what it was, talked up to be, if you're losing faith in that deal, well, keep on coming back, because on a daily basis, I'm showing you that we still have partnerships, we still have adoption, we have a bunch of utility coming to the XRPL ecosystem, a lot of good developments taking place. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but we definitely got something cooking. Okay. But if you want to go chase meme coins, you want to go chase some gains, that's fine. I'm going to diversify a little bit myself, but I am not touching my XRP bag, not touching my XLM bag. I'm going to go work my butt off, save up a few more shekels, and, maybe deploy a little bit towards some of these other projects. But this is what I look at. As I've always said, the $1 trillion problems are what turn me on. If we ain't solving $1 trillion problems, you can just pass on by with your little cute project. And I'm not going to name any sectors in particular, blockchain gaming. There's something there. There's billion-dollar industry there, but it's not a trillion-dollar industry. It's not quadrillion like derivatives. You see what I'm saying? So let that pass on by. Now, one that we're not going to let pass on by and one that we're not going to miss is going to be this interview coming up at noon Pacific and 3 Eastern today. This is going to be the interview with Steven Narioff and, I was going to say Joseph Lubin, but it's Steven Narioff and John Deaton. Huge shout out. All eyes on these guys as they're going to be talking about this. You see it right here. Steven Narioff dropped this clip yesterday. And he had sent me a DM yesterday. And so he told me to check this out. And I asked him, when was this originally shared? And this is out of April of 2014. And in this clip, Joseph Lubin says, exactly. And again, as we've discussed, there's a tension between running an open, transparent organization and protecting ourselves. And so maybe we agree to be open and transparent, except for everything from 90 days ago and to the past, because it's all gone. Sort of like the way cryptocurrencies were. There isn't a trail if you don't want there to be. And Steven Narioff says that he's going to be dropping the full conversation, I think, after the John Deaton interview. And he's still fighting his case. And what's interesting about Steven Narioff's deal, he's not out to expose Ethereum. It's just it's all related to his case. And he has evidence. He has emails. He has contracts. And this is the same, guy that was shoved off to the side, was dismissed, and they tried to say he had no part of it. No, he definitely had a part. He was the ones that was trying to tell you guys to do things the proper way. How to, actually follow the law, how to not break it, how to not go around it, how to just cover up your tracks. There isn't a trail if you don't want there to be. And that's what they tried to do with Steven Narioff. And none of them came to his defense when the government framed him. Those charges against him were completely dropped with prejudice. They were completely fabricated. And now Steven Narioff's fighting his case on that behalf. He's just trying to cover his case in that regard. It just so happens that all of this Ethereum free pass story is all connected, and he has all the smoking gun evidence that we've ever needed. So make sure you guys tune in. That's going to be today on the Crypto Law channel. Let me pull this up. Yeah, it's going to be taking place here. Deaton on Narioff, the hard-hitting, no-holds-barred interview, ETHgate, his arrest and dismissal, and more. Starting in about 3 hours. That's at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. I'll be in the chat. Can't wait to see you guys there. On the way out, if you guys can like this video, I'd greatly appreciate that. Keep on sharing our message out far and wide. That's all we ask. If you want to support the cause too, you can go to my website, zachrector.com, and I would greatly appreciate all your love, all your support, and we will see you guys here later today. God bless you all.